Putazos y Pendejadas Podcast.
What's going on, everybody? It's PYP Boxing. David De Leon here with my man, Mark El Tejanito Salinas. What's going on, partner? How are you?
Good, man. How you doing, man? A lot of exciting news going on, man. I'm getting ready to get into it.
Yeah, man. Let's jump right in, man. There's a lot to talk about today. Lomachenko backs out of the Gervonta Davis fight negotiations. Mark, everybody's starting to jump on Loma. They're calling him a duck. Is he a duck? Yes or no?
Nah, man, not Lomachenko. He's not a duck at all. Nombre como Lomachenko se merece respeto. Mr. Lomachenko, absolutely not a duck. You're talking about a guy that has over 300 fights, amateur and pro, always has respected the game, never ducked anybody. Listen, I think he was after Tank for a while there, for a long time, since like 2016 or something. So he tried for that Tank fight and kept fighting top competition himself. Then he goes to war. Who knows what's going on with him? Then he comes back to the sport, has a couple of more even tougher fights. He's 36, 35 now. Maybe it's too much. I don't know what to call it, but you can't call it a duck at this time after everything that man has done in his life. And I know Gervonta's a big clown, and he likes to belittle his opponents and people in the boxing game that are his foes. I hope he doesn't do it to this guy, because this guy doesn't deserve it at all. But Gervonta's a clown, and if he doesn't, I'll try not to get too mad.
Well, this is how I kind of see it, Mark. Is it technically a duck? Yeah, you can call it a duck. The reason he doesn't want to fight Davis is because he has no motivation right now and he wants to spend time with his family. Fair enough. He said that after the Kambosos fight. Why go into negotiations in the first place if you didn't have the motivation to fight him anyway? So, yeah, I kind of feel like there's a duck there. But should we hold it against Lomachenko? I think not, and this is why. We haven't heard Tank call out Lomachenko until Lomachenko has mentioned retirement. He waits until the man starts talking about retirement at 36 years old to finally say, let's fight. I don't think Gervonta Davis has the right to make fun of Lomachenko for not wanting to fight him. And we've been watching boxing for a long time, Mark. When a fighter starts talking about retirement, they already have one foot out. The other one is soon to follow. In other news, Mark, Turki Al-Sheikh has teamed up with Golden Boy and Top Rank. The Top Rank agreement details look to be set for 1 year, and they have 12 shows where Riyadh season will help in the promotional buildup and the overall facilitating of the fights. The Golden Boy partnership will begin right away on August 10th with the Virgil Ortiz-Sergey Boachuk fight for the WBC 154-pound interim belt. There are a lot of mixed feelings on social media about these agreements. Some people like it, some people don't. Do you think this is good for boxing, yes or no?
I think it's great for boxing. Top Rank, they have a deal with ESPN, man. That's a TV deal. It's basic cable. So big win for Riyadh, teaming up with Top Rank and Bob Arum. Riyadh season and Golden Boy, another great partnership. Oscar De La Hoya has his hands in big venues around LA. He signed a deal with YouTube Theater and SoFi Stadium at Hollywood Park. So he signed a pretty big deal, a multi-year deal to have combat sports there. So that's great, for Golden Boy and for Riyadh teaming up with Golden Boy, because now we know Riyadh puts on huge shows. He's got a place in LA to put those big old shows on. There's so many big things can happen here. Along the months, we'll find out more about it and what great things will happen. But it seems, like a big thing all around.
And a lot of people are concerned about these agreements being a bad thing because they think they're going to take a lot of events away from the U.S. But that's not what's happening here. These agreements, they're establishing with U.S. promoters so they can have a U.S. presence. You look at the August 3rd card. That's Riyadh season's first card in the United States. It's taking place in California. with the first one with Golden Boy. That event is taking place in Las Vegas. I don't think they're going to be taking fights away from the United States. I think this is a good thing for boxing, regardless of what your views are politically with the Saudi Arabia and how they run things over there. For boxing fans and the sport, this is going to make a lot of things happen. And Mark, I think the U.S. boxing scene needs a reset. The way things have been running, a lot of politics, a lot of fear and hesitancy from promoters and investing in the fights. You think about Crawford Spence. For a long time, the excuse for that fight was it's not going to make money. People are going to pirate the fight. The fighters want too much money to make it work. Look what happened when the fight took place. It sold well. Both Crawford and Spence made their highest paydays. If you build it, they will come. And Riyadh season is here to build some fights for us. I'm all for it. Let's see what happens with those agreements. Top Rank is still in the news here. They made a couple of big signings. Jaime Munguia leaves Golden Boy and signs a multi-fight deal with Top Rank. Munguia, Zanfer, and Top Rank have agreed to work together. Their first fight will be on September 20th. It will be in Arizona. The venue has yet to be determined. It looks like Munguia will be facing a top contender at 168 pounds by the name of Eric Bazignan. He's 32-0, one draw with 23 KOs. Just a little bit about Bazignan, Mark. He's 8th in the ring rankings at 168 pounds, 8th in the IBF, 4th in the WBA, 2nd in the WBO, and 6th in the WBC. How do you feel about this news, Mark? I know it's going to hit you close to the heart. Your boy Oscar lost another one.
Yeah, man, and it's concerning because Zurdo Ramirez is also a free agent. We would have heard any concern or issues coming out of the Golden Boy camp, knowing how Oscar is on social media now, sir. There doesn't seem to be any concern there. Jaime Munguia hasn't said anything bad about Oscar, so we know there's nothing wrong there. But definitely me as a fan, I'm concerned.
I think it's just a smart move overall for Munguia. If you think about it, Top Rank has already put him in position to move up the rankings at 168 pounds. Why would you want to do that? Who has the belts at 168 pounds? Canelo Alvarez. So allowing Munguia to move up the rankings with this very next fight, I think they're trying to make a play on a Canelo rematch. Whether or not that happens, I don't know, but they're putting him in position for it. And don't forget, Top Rank recently signed Christian Mbili, who is also a 168-pounder that's making some noise. That would just be a good, fun fight to watch. Mbili is going to be facing Sergey Derevyachenko in August. That's going to be a hell of a fight, too. Basically, the winner of that fight versus Munguia is going to be a good fight. Christian Mbili comes to bang, and Derevyachenko just had a Fight of the Year candidate with Munguia last year. So we know that one would be a good fight, too, if it were to go down. Top Rank also signed Junto Nakatani. Junto Nakatani, 28-0, 21 knockouts, defeated Vincent Astrolabio of the Philippines last Saturday. The end came in the first round by a straight left to the body. It was a picture-perfect shot. That was Nakatani's first defense of his WBC 118-pound title. Mark, quick quote from Nakatani after the fight. I would like to unify the titles or move up to 122 to win the championship there. The fight with Inoue is the one I really want. A lot of people are really expecting this fight. I will continue to get stronger and will be ready for that fight. Mark, you've said before that you like the Bam Rodriguez fight for Nakatani before Inoue.
I still believe Bam and Nakatani is a good fight, but after hearing that, I mean, of course, yes, Nakatani wants Inoue. I would want Inoue too. I mean, Inoue is only second in Japan as the biggest star to Otani from the Dodgers. I mean, Otani just hit a 473-foot home run out there, man. Shout out to Cholo Trucker and his Dodger Blues. But yeah, the money would be big there, especially in Japan. And Japan wants it to happen as well. They've been building it up, in the media, even 2-3 years ago, calling Junto Nakatani the new monster. I believe that would be the biggest fight. So yeah, if I was Junto, definitely I would take the Inoue fight. It's much bigger, but the Bam fight is pretty big itself because Bam's stock has also risen. Japan really loves boxers who respect the sport and do it right and who are really good, right? Like Bam. The money there is going to be pretty big as well.
I think the Inoue fight is going to happen before Bam. I think Bam still needs, even though he's probably well respected and known in Japan, he has a good relationship with Mr. Honda of Tekken Promotions. Bam still has some business to take care of at 150 pounds, and he said as much. He wants to unify all the belts there. So does Junto Nakatani, Mark. He wants to unify all the belts at 118 pounds. And all of those titles are held by Japanese fighters. You have Ryosuke Nishida, who has the IBF. Yoshiki Takai holds the WBO. And Takuma Inoue holds the WBA. Yes, I said Inoue. That's Inoue's younger brother. If Junto were to unify all the titles at 118 pounds, he would have to be Inoue's younger brother. I think that perfectly sets up a brother revenge match. It's a great theme, a great storyline to bring into that fight. It's going to make it huge in Japan, even bigger than it already is now. People are expecting it. Junto's expecting it. And I know you said that Inoue probably doesn't have Junto on his radar. I don't believe that. You can't see this big giant fighting at 118 pounds and not think he's coming for me, especially after what he just said after that fight. But if just in case he's not on his radar, if Junto beats his younger brother, he will definitely be on the radar then. Our last bit of news that we want to talk about is the Canelo versus Berlanga fight. It looks like Canelo found his opponent for September 13th, and it will look to take place in Las Vegas, and it will look to compete with the UFC card at the Sphere. People are already jumping over Canelo about this choice. How do you feel about this fight?
You know what? I feel like this fight is telling us something. This fight is telling us that this is a tune-up fight and we're up for something big on the Super Bowl of boxing, Cinco de Mayo. Yeah, everybody's going to be pissed off at Canelo for taking this fight, but I see it as a tune-up fight. I think it's a tune-up fight for something great, and I really think it's going to be either Crawford or Benavidez. Yeah, I smell something big on the horizon. I don't know how they're going to market this fight. Puerto Rico versus Mexico. I mean, obviously going to go that route. They're probably going to hear a lot about Berlanga's power and the superpower and this and that. But ultimately, we got to take it as a big announcement or something big on the horizons for Cinco de Mayo.
I too think that they're going to try to market it with the Mexico versus Puerto Rico rivalry. We know that's a very famous rivalry in boxing. It's produced some of the best fights in boxing history. Unfortunately, this I don't think will be one of them. I've got Berlanga losing badly in this fight. I'm not interested in this bout. I'm not even really that upset about it, to be honest with you. I bought a lot of Canelo's pay-per-views over the years, and you know what, man? I'm okay with him choosing this route. If he wants to fight Berlanga, it's his choice. He's taken on a lot of challenges. I've seen him in a lot of great fights. Not very interested in it. That's all I got to say on that. But I got a question for you, man. I know you live on the border, and I know they show Canelo's fights on Azteca for free. If you did not live on the border and you did not have a Fire Stick, would you still buy this pay-per-view?
Well, I'm the wrong guy to ask that question, David, because you know me with the things that I'm passionate about. I buy it no matter what it costs. I mean, last night I just bought Undisputed for the new boxing game on the PS5. I pre-ordered it. People say that's outrageously expensive, but I love that stuff, and I got it along with Madden last night. That's not even due to come out for a couple of months, but I got that too. Yes, I would do it 10 times. Anytime Canelo fights or a Inoue fights, ladies and gentlemen, you have to watch it. That's how special these guys are. I feel like you can't miss one of those two dudes' fights at this point because that's how special they are. and you always want to say, hey, I sat there and I watched so-and-so fight of Canelo. So yeah, no, I'd buy it for sure, but I don't think the people want to see this, David. I really don't think the people want to spend money for this. I mean, Berlanga said they're hitting 1 million pay-per-views for sure. I don't know what aguardiente he's drinking out there or what, but I see maybe 300 pay-per-view buys, maybe 500 is what they should be seeking to get. On any pay-per-view nowadays, maybe 500 is the number to crack, but I don't know what Berlanga's saying about 1 million pay-per-view.
Well, that's really overshooting it to me, man. I would be surprised if it cracks 5. I don't think it's going to do those numbers, but Larry Merchant, he always said boxing is the theater of the unexpected. And 1 million pay-per-view buys is very unexpected for that fight. Well, that's it, Mark. Hey, thanks for tuning in to all our subscribers. We appreciate you guys. We're still trying to get to that 1,000, on the road to 1,000. Please make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and let us know, how do you feel about the news that we talked about tonight? Do you really think Berlanga Canelo? How do you guys feel about that fight? Peace.